I tell people all the time, I'm like, bro, you can't be stuck in no 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, but it's like, it's what you're doing with the 9 to 5. A 9 to 5 should only be used to fund your own business. Like, you shouldn't be working a 9 to 5 to take care of your life for the rest of your life.
I don't think Gen Z has any want to work anymore or to live the corporate dream that we've been all told to pursue, because it simply just doesn't exist anymore. Like, we truly are getting fucked. And even though we don't have a choice at the moment, like, it shouldn't be shocking to anyone that Gen Z doesn't have the want or excitement to climb the corporate ladder and be a part of a corporation that doesn't care about them, when we are relentlessly reminded in so many ways by our culture that labor isn't viewed as an asset, but instead as a cost, the cost of your soul. That's really what corporate work ends up being. It's just horrible. Like, it's a completely adversarial relationship that capital has with labor now. And if you want to get paid the most in this greed-filled society, you have to be the shittiest, most greed-filled person. That's really what gets you the furthest. And that's what all these corporations that people strive to work for are doing, right? They're just hoping you're useful until they can get rid of you. Like, why would you want to work hard for a company that views you as nothing, right? They can't wait to get rid of you.
I quit my job today. And you know what? I feel better than ever. Listen, for me, I've never ever stayed at a job. I've never ever stayed at a career for more than 2 years, really, more than 2 or 3 years. And I'll explain exactly why, right? When you talk about the cost of living, when you're talking about inflation, when you talk about the cost of goods, when you talk about the cost of services, when you stay at a job, your paycheck, your salary is not keeping up with inflation. Your salary is not keeping up with the cost of goods, the cost of services, the cost of maintaining your life, the cost of breathing, the cost of home ownership, the cost of car maintenance. Your salary is not keeping up. If anything, every single year that most of you are staying at your job, you are actually losing money. So I finally got myself to the point where I could make a choice, right? Could I have easily just stayed where I was? Could I have, maybe put 1 foot in, 1 foot out, being somewhere else overseas? Could I have done that? Could I have just moved my family and I could have stayed where I was to continue to work until we hit a threshold or something like that? Yes, I could have done that. But then that puts me at the whims of what I did not want to do, right? And quite honestly, I got tired of doing things that I didn't want to do. I got tired of doing things that weren't aligned with my purpose, right? I got tired of doing things that quite frankly wasn't building anything meaningful for my life exactly, right? I'm building for everybody else. I'm making everybody else $1 million, right? I'm making the CEOs rich. I'm making the tech oligarchs rich. I'm making Uncle Sam. I'm making everybody else rich. I'm getting everybody to their goal. I'm fulfilling somebody else's purpose, right? Where I work, that was somebody else's idea, right? Which it was a bright idea, but I'm working in somebody else's idea, not mine. And look, many of you will say, well, entrepreneurship isn't for everybody, bro. Entrepreneur, you can keep hollering that from the rooftops. You can keep on saying that. Listen, that's not going to prevent me from thinking the way that I think one way or another. And quite frankly, many of you actually use that as an excuse, right? Many of you are actually doing nothing in life. You're actually working in places where you don't even want to work, right? Listen, the writing is on the wall. How many people I've ran into, how many people that I've talked to, right? I asked, do you like your job? Yeah, well, it pays the bills. That's it, right? When I ask people, what do you want to do long term? Right? Where do you see yourself being in the next 5 to 10 years? People have been working these jobs for so long that it has sucked all purpose and drive and ambition out of them. All people know is to use Uncle Sam or Daddy Gov and the corporations for safety. That's all they know. And listen, this is not a video shitting on 9 to 5s. They have their place, right? Of course they have their place. It's a steady paycheck. You don't have to think, right? You don't have to think for most of these jobs. I remember a supervisor told me, listen, said we pay you just to do. We don't pay you to ask questions. We don't pay you to use your mind, right? And being in an environment like that, where you literally not thinking for yourself, right? You're just being paid to do. Yeah, there's some thinking on some level, but you're just getting paid to do. You're not getting paid to think on a higher level. You're not getting paid to think outside the box, because when you do, and don't get me wrong, if you make the supervisors look bad, if you make the management look bad, oh, they will do something about it, right? And I just, it wasn't feeding me anymore. It wasn't feeding me anymore. And this is currently my view right here, man. This is currently my view as I'm, you know, filming this video. I'm just sitting up here looking at this while looking at the camera. Complete blue skies, you know, ocean right there, palm trees. And for me, this is bliss for me. This is bliss for me. Especially coming where I just came from, having to deal with the riffraff day in and day out, having to deal with, evil spirited people, just disgusting individuals, having to deal with that day in and day out. You know what? I just need a period of time where I just need a woosah moment, right? I need a woosah moment. I need time to gather my thoughts. The game plan is still, completely in effect, but I just need a woosah moment. I need that time to think. I need that time to decompress, because what you don't want to do is bring that same energy into a new environment. Because yes, I have to admit that energy did rub off on me, right? It absolutely did. I'm a fine believer in you are what you hang around, and you are the environment that you hang in. So there's only so much of a defense that you can play when you're always having to deal with this person. You're always having to deal with this evil. You're always having to deal with certain type of demons in the world, right? Eventually that energy rubs off on you, right? There's only so much fighting you can do after a certain amount of time, to where now it's on you. Now you find yourself probably doing some of the same things that those individuals inflicted on you. So now is my time to decompress. Now is my time to free up my mind, right? Delete all of those things, delete all of those memories, resolve all of those memories, and create a brand new life and go ahead and move on, right? Because you can get stuck in a cycle of repeat, repeat, repeat. And people get stuck in these cycles of repeat because they never resolve those memories. They never resolve those situations and circumstances that they went through, right? Just like a computer, just like a camera, go through those memories, look at them. Do you need it? Is it beneficial to you? If not, delete, right? Delete. And that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing this entire time. Just deleting memories that aren't good for me. But yeah, man, today was the day that I left. Today was the day that I called it quits. Today was the day that I was just done. There was no more thinking about it. There was no more debating. There was no more, going back and forth with myself. Is this the right decision? Is it not the right decision? Is it good for myself? Is it good for my family? So on and so forth. I made a decision, right? And this is the decision that I'm moving forward with. And this is the decision, quite frankly, for better or for worse, that I will be, standing on, right? And this is what it's all about, right? It's about making hard decisions, right? Especially for a lot of you men out here, right? The reason why you're not getting anywhere in life because you're too afraid to make the hard decisions. You too afraid to make the uncomfortable decisions. That's why you still sitting in a rut. That's why you're still doing what you're doing. That's why you still work at Jiffy Lube, right? That's why you still work at that Amazon facility that they're about to throw your ass out of anyway, because the Amazon bots are here, right? You're still working at UPS, FedEx, warehouse job, and you haven't done anything. You haven't upped your skills. You haven't learned AI. You haven't done anything. You've been working at Jiffy Lube for 5-10 years, right? Now you're the Jiffy Lube manager, right? You still work at Wally World. You're the cart manager now. They put you on cart patrol, right? When are you going to do something? Right? Many of you are never going to amount to what you could have amounted to because you refuse to make the uncomfortable decisions, right? It's in my DNA just to continuously put myself in uncomfortable situations, no matter how bad it hurt, no matter how uncomfortable it is, no matter how hot it is, no matter if it's just the unknown, right? This is completely unknown to me, right? But people have been doing it for ages. People have been moving countries for ages. People have been learning new languages for ages. People have come from other places and implemented businesses for ages. This is not something new. There's nothing new up under the sun. I'm not reinventing the wheel, right? I'm doing what many people who came before me have already done, right? I'm just doing it at my level, right? I'm just doing it where, nobody else is doing it nowadays because everybody, especially in the Western world, have become so modernized now. Everybody in the Western world have gotten so used to comfort. And that is the reason why it will be the West's downfall, right? That will be the West's downfall. Right? Getting too comfortable. I never want to get too comfortable. And I will continue to put myself in uncomfortable positions so that I can grow my mind, so that I can grow my character, so I can grow my spirit, so I can grow understanding of the world, which makes me a better person, which makes me a better entrepreneur, which makes me a better businessman, which makes me a better person overall, a better man overall. But y'all wouldn't know anything about that because you're okay with pushing carts. Right? You're okay with being a cashier. Right? Some of you got jobs that don't even pay you. Many of you are practically working for free. Y'all are out here working for free. When you account for taxes, when you account for cost of living, when you account for daily living expenses, weekly, monthly living expenses, y'all are in the negative. Y'all are in the red. Many of you won't admit this to yourself. You're working for free. You're an indentured servant. You are an indentured servant. You're an indentured servitude. But many of you, y'all go to bat for your job. You'll go to bat for that Jiffy Lube job. You'll go to bat for that cart pusher job. You'll go to bat for that. But y'all won't go to bat for yourself. I'm gonna put myself first every single time. I don't care what it costs me. Right? We stay in a time period where time is of the essence. Y'all already see what's going on. Y'all see the wars happening. Y'all see the restriction of resources, the consolidation of resources. Y'all already see what the elites, the daddy government are doing. They taking the pot of gold and they're running with it. They done killed the leprechaun. Yeah, they killed the leprechaun. They beheaded the leprechaun. They took the whole pot of gold. Y'all see what's going on. Y'all see what they're rolling in. Y'all see the AI. Y'all see the robotics. But y'all are still sitting still because you're scared. Right? Don't get me wrong. I'm still human. Of course, I still had that roller coaster of emotions. I still had that fear. I still had the pause, if you will. I still had all of those feelings. But guess what? I jumped anyway. Right? And this is why experiences are everything, right? And I'm glad I've been in so many industries, including being a lifeguard. This reminds me of being a lifeguard, right? Through lifeguard training, you got to jump in the deep end, right? There is no holding back when you're training to save people's lives. There is no pausing when you have to save somebody's life. Right. And that's what they train you on. You jump when you see somebody struggling. You jump when you see somebody drowning, right? You jump, right? So I use that same mindset for myself. I was drowning, right? I didn't like where I was, right? I hated where I was. I hated I hated the people that I was around. Shouts out to the people. Y'all already know who y'all are, who I did care for, right? That's probably only like one or two people, but shouts out to y'all. Y'all already know who I cared for. Y'all already know you got my number. You got my line, ring my line, right? But besides that, I hated every single body. I hated the managers. I hated the supervisors. I hated the fake ass camaraderie. I hated the fake ass people. I hated the fake ass men, right? And I'm glad to be away from that. I'm glad to be away from them. But I'm also glad that I was able to go through the situation. See, a lot of y'all use trauma and y'all use horrible situations that you go through, and you use it to hold yourself back, right? I do the opposite. Right? I use negative situations. I use imperfect situations. I use ugly situations that I've gone through, ugly circumstances that I've gone through. I use it and transfer into energy to push my momentum, to push me forward, to push forward my mind, to push forward my body. I go hard in the gym. I go hard mentally. I go hard in business. I go hard with ideas. I use it and churn it into creativity. Yes, like I tell you guys all the time, I'm a whole science experiment. I know how to use energy to my advantage. Energy is neither created nor destroyed, only transferred, right? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was made flesh. How many times do they have to tell y'all? But y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get it. You don't understand how powerful your mind is. You don't understand how powerful you are. You don't understand how powerful your ideas are. You don't understand how powerful your words are. Thoughts become things. Words becomes actions. Right? But many of y'all are so caught up in somebody else's dream. You're so caught up in somebody else's words. You're so caught up in what everybody else is saying. You're so caught up in what the NPCs are saying. You're so caught up in what your no good, lousy ass managers and supervisors who never amounted to anything. They only bought a house. Okay. Most people have never accomplished anything. All they can show for it is a house and a badass kids who probably strung out on drugs. I'm just giving it to you real deal Holyfield, right? So I made this video to let you know that, yes, people are out here doing it. People are out here living on their terms. People are out here putting in the work. People are out here not working a 9 to 5. Don't get me wrong. The work has just begun, right? Well, don't get it misconstrued or twisted or anything like that. The work has just begun, right? The 9 to 5 shit, that was easy. That's easy work, right? You ninjas pushing carts, you buggy pushers, right? You cashiers, you Jiffy Lubers, right? You computer whizzes, right? Wizards, right? You keyboard warriors, that shit easy. Do this type shit. Up and move yourself out of another country and rely solely on yourself with business. Oh, the work has just begun, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, the work has just begun. And then after this video, I'm going to go take a run on the Malecon. The work has just begun. And I'm excited. I'm glad because I get to do shit on my terms now. And that's an after pill. I built a life. I built a family. I worked my hands raw to get here. And I'm not done. This is the escape blueprint, PFP life, a way out of the grind and into control. You'll learn how I stack cash, build systems, and reclaim time so you can live on your own terms. You will watch me maneuver and grind towards the life that I achieve for myself, and you can also do the same. Join the circle, join the Patreon, learn the steps, and protect your freedom. The escape blueprint. PFP life.